I now interrupt you from your regularly scheduled program. I always wanted to say that. You know when the best time to say it is? Like, if it was during the Super Bowl, and it's like the last 5 minutes, and it's a tie game, and like everyone's watching. And out of nowhere, like Lex Luthor, I just break into all the broadcasts, and I broadcast one of these stupid, ridiculous friggin' podcasts of mine. How great would that be? Oh, that's a dream come true. I want to thank everybody for the positive reviews of last week's Mechanics of Metal. I had a good time doing it. And again, I thank you very much. I announced a lot of different themes I had for podcasts when I started it. And some of them I want to do is about comic books and wrestling and TV shows. And instead of maybe having separate podcasts for that, I'm thinking of just having like one podcast that covers different mediums where I can discuss movies and television shows and comic books, and wrestling and all that. And that's something I'll work on in the future. I am open to have people join me in these podcasts. There is enough room in my comic book room here to fit another person. So if anybody wants to come over and do one with me about any subject, pretty much almost any subject, I'm open to that. And of course, there's Skype and there's other things, and we'll see how everything goes. All right, well, this week's podcast, I think this is my second or third of Therapy of a Madman. This is the podcast where I get everything off my chest, where it's therapy for me to talk about things that bother me. And I have several subjects, and I have no notes as usual, nothing on my screen, so who knows how this is going to go, so let's just take it from here. Before I get into those subjects, I just want to just say a few little Facebook things that happened this week. The morons that are on Facebook, it's just the stupidity. Somebody said, well, where would you rank this Slayer album? Whatever fucking album, doesn't even matter. You don't even listen to Slayer. And I answered, if I rank all my Slayer albums, Christ Illusion, one through last, this would probably be my least favorite one. Didn't take long, under a minute, and here it comes. Ping! You're a moron. My opinion, I'm a moron. That's what you gotta love about this world. Your opinion, you're a moron. And what was the other one? There was another. Oh yeah. I'm in I like classic TV, and I'm in a group with that. And I don't know. It was Lucy, douchey old Ball's birthday, and I just popped in. And I said, I never was a big fan of Lucy. That's all I said. Nothing mean. Nothing. Just I'm not a big fan. Holy crap! I mean, people were wanting me to die. It was unbelievable just because I am not a fan of Lucy. What did that one person say to me? Oh my God. Just can't have an opinion. Another friggin' moron this week is how, comic books are corrupting the children of today, and this is one of the things I'm going to talk about. So, let me light up. Maybe that remark will come back to me while I do this. So, I'm going to talk about things that I dislike. And pretty much it's going to be the news, politics, and God. Actually, these may be things that I hate. So, the news and the politics, they'll probably just be thrown in all together with a whole bunch of other crap. So, I never was a huge fan of the news as a kid. You used to have to do a current event story, and they always wanted you to do, I always wanted to do sports, but they didn't want to do it, so I always wanted to let you do something on politics and stuff, but whatever the fuck is going on in the news. I remember as a kid, the news was just on a couple times a day. Hey, I can understand, you get up in the morning, you're ready for your work, you want to hear what's going on. And at 9, 11 o'clock before you go to bed, you want to catch your scores, see what's going on in the world. And you know what? I grew up in New York, and I'll tell you right now, the first 15 minutes of the fucking news was brutal. All fucking negative shit. It's all negative shit. I give you an example. The other day, my wife, she watches the news. She watches the Chick News, HLN, whatever it's called. And I go in there, and there was two mass murders this weekend, which I'm totally desensitized from. I really don't care. I mean, I really have no empathy, sympathy, or apathy for any of these people who get killed. They mean nothing to me. I really don't give a fuck about them. And there was a time like when stuff like this would go on. Yeah, I may watch it on the news for a day or two. It was fascinating. David, the Koresh, and Columbine. I mean, when it was first getting big, Jim Jones. I remember that when I was a kid. That was a beautiful thing. Just let's believe in the Lord and kill ourselves. We'll get to that later. Well, anyway. So I go in there and Trump is on, and he goes, I think we have to start looking at blaming a lot of this violence on video games. Okay, where have we heard this before? Let's see. Dr. Wortham, back in the late 40s, wrote a book, Seduction of the Innocent, which condemned comic books, saying that comic books were the reason for juvenile delinquents. Let's go to a couple other things. How about kids who committed suicide? And, it's Ozzy Osbourne's fault because he has a song called Suicide Solution, which is basically telling you, if you drink too much, you're going to kill yourself. Of course, they went to court and Ozzy won that. And same thing with Judas Priest with one of their songs, Beyond the Realms of Death. Just such ridiculous things with this violence. There's always been violence. Violence is part of being a human, I guess. I don't need to see something violent to be violent, even though I'm not very violent. I mean, I used to be violent. That's a whole nother fucking story. But violence has been around for forever. I remember back in school, one of the semesters we had to take was in English for Shakespeare. And I remember we had to read Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet is this big, popular story. There's been plays and movies. It was written by Shakespeare like 500 years ago. And how's it end? It ends in a double suicide. I mean, they've got me in 7th grade reading this fucking story about two kids who are in love who can't, and they fucking kill themselves. What the fuck is that? I mean, I would rather pick up a fucking Superman comic, have Lex Luthor put him in a trap, Superman escapes, and he's a hero. He wins it. That's what we should be reading. Not these fucking stories. Macbeth, that was another one. Another one with murder and suicide. All these Shakespeare things were murder and suicide. Same thing with opera. People loved opera years ago. Have you ever read an opera? Now, of course, you can't listen to an opera because you don't know what the fuck they're saying. They're talking in Italian. But every opera ends in tragedy, where crows are picking people's eyes out. People are killing each other. It's violent. But look how big it was. There's always been violence. There's been violence from the cavemans. They want to get, back in the day, they want to get laid, they fucking take a rock and knock another caveman in the head just to get pussy. Pussy has caused a lot of violence. There's always going to be violence. Video games ain't going to make you. You got if you're going to go out and kill people, it has nothing to do with what you've read. It has nothing to do with a game you played. It has to do with you being a fucking sick motherfucker. There are people that are not only born. There are people born fucked up in the head. Of course, it's going to be. I can't believe Trump said that. I kind of like Trump. I hate politics. I admit. I was watching a bit when he was running for president because it was fascinating when you grow up in New York. I used to hear Trump on Stern all the time. First time you heard him, like, oh, this guy's pretty cool. He's into sex and supermodels, and he shoots straight from the hip, just like most of us New Yorkers do, straight from the fucking hip. What the fuck is wrong with him? Because it's politics. He's not a politician, but now he is. He's in the politics, which is the most fucking corrupt thing in the world. I mean, you got graft. all these other fucking corrupt things. I'm drawing a blank again. Sometimes I do. It'll come, and talk about the whole Clinton and killings and extortion. Politics has been corrupt forever. I don't want to spend my time listening to anything about politics, really. There's just so many better things to do. Politics just reminds you of how fucked up this world is. And do politics affect me? Yes. It does affect everyone. But I'm not going to sit around behind a fucking TV all day watching everybody blah, 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 talk about it. The left and the right. And who fucking cares? I don't really fucking care. It's going to affect me. I'm going to eventually find out about it. I'm sorry, but I got a Super Friends cartoon to watch. Which, you know what? Is going to bring a smile to my face. Not hear all this depressing fucking bullshit that's going on in the world, which goes back to the news. The news is fucked up. I remember as a kid, I think it was back in '78, and I was working with my dad, and he would get up in the morning, and we would drive to work, and he'd put on the news forecast. He'd get into work, he'd read the newspaper. We'd go home on the way home, listening to the news again. Go to eat dinner, the news is on again, there comes the news again. Now, because of how everything has changed, you got news 24 hours a day. And it's just ridiculous. It's all ridiculous. This world is ridiculous. Fuck them all. I say no, no, no to news and to politics. I'll tell you right now, if you're touchy about talking about God, you may not like what I'm going to say. But I'm going to say it. This whole concept that there is a God is the most fucked up thing to happen to this planet. Because of the notion there's a God, and every civilization throughout history in every country, they all have different gods, all with different names, and fat Buddhas and Mexican-looking hippies, like God's supposed son Jesus. He was a Mexican hippie. If you take that painting, The Last Supper, and turn it around, you'll see Jesus' Mexican brother Jose doing the dishes. A lot of people don't know that, so if you ever see that painting, turn it around. The whole concept of God, it's responsible for organized religion that has killed so many people. It has killed more people than anything, more than politics. The Crusades. Hitler. The freaking Spanish guy, whoever that got shot down. It kills people. It is ridiculous. You don't believe in a God because there's no such thing. There's no such thing of this friggin' thing that's existing out somewhere and has the power supreme. He's like the Silver Surfer. There's no fucking thing, is that? Come on. It's an excuse. And with the fucking Bible. Look, you ever go into hotels to have sex? Because there are hotels all over the world that have sex. Why is it they all have a Bible in there? I mean, what? Is that supposed to make you guilty because of the 10 Commandments? Or because you're having sex and you're not married? Because, sex is wrong. And that's probably the whole Adam and Eve ribbed on everything. Is that the forbidden fruit in the apple was basically Adam sticking his schlong in Eve. That's where that... Not that that really happened, but, that's according to the Bible. It's a literally masterpiece that has really changed my life. Like the way he changes people's lives in jail. All these people that are fucking violent. They kill people. They rape people. They go in jail and they find God and they read the Bible. I bet you 3/4 of them, when they come out, they're back to being fucking violent because it's their fucking nature. A lot of our nature is violence. Back to violence. See, this podcast is all over the place because they all intertwine in a way. Politics and God and hatred and religion and I need another drag, excuse me. You want to believe in something? Believe in yourself. Believe in what you could be capable of doing. We're human and we're flawed and we make mistakes. You make a mistake, you try and correct it. You don't need to run to a church. My parents, I'm lucky, my parents were not very religious. I was Catholic. My parents were Catholic, so I was brought up Catholic. I went as a kid, I made my communion. And this was back in the day where also on Wednesdays, you would get out of public school about 2 o'clock and you would go to your local church to take religion instruction, which was usually run by like a pedophile priest or one of these bold dyke nuns that were fucking mean and would take rules and smack your hand, you know, if you weren't like obeying their every fucking movement and fucking mean shit, man. Want to know what's in that Vatican? We all want to know what's in the Vatican. Believe in yourself. God is not real. It's fake. It's just something that is there to have people to try and, I'm trying to say, granted, maybe it does help. Maybe it does help a few people. I understand that. It does. But I think in the long run, believing in God and having religion and organized religion and all the murder and all the bullshit that's went on, it is not a positive thing. I think it's a negative thing. So for all you God-fearing motherfuckers out there, I'm sorry. I don't need to believe in that. I believe in myself like I said earlier. God is fake. Now fake God is? God is as fake as my fucking teeth.